Sweet potatoes are one of my favorite crops to grow, and here in southeastern Ontario, they're really easy to grow. This vine right here is jumping out of the soil, and believe it or not, I'm actually about to start next year's crop of sweet potatoes as I dig these ones up. Sweet potatoes actually aren't related to most other root vegetables. They're closely related to morning glories. Sweet potatoes grow along a vine. These vines travel along and they start to put down tubers. And usually the central part will be where your biggest sweet potatoes will grow, but you can get some pretty big ones coming along like this. But you can also get some little ones that aren't that useful. So what I do is I go along and pull up my sweet potato tubers and my vine, and then really I have a choice of what to do with this produce. These are perfectly edible. I can boil them and peel them and it's great, but sometimes these little ones look like they're going to be a little bit more work than they're worth. But look at these beautiful little roots that are all along the side. I can put this in a little shallow dish of water right now and it will sprout roots. I can plant it in soil inside if I want to, and it will actually be ready to transplant next spring and make me lots of new sweet potatoes. I can also use a cutting from this vine, and the same thing. I can cut it off, pull off the lower leaves, stick it in water until it makes its own roots, and when it's ready to pot into soil or to hydroponically grow with some extra nutrients, this will grow all winter and then transplant really easily in the spring. And this is what it looks like when I put them in water in a little shallow dish or something like that so that the roots can have a drink. I just have some little tiny sweet potato babies here. They will also start to sprout vines as well that will look like this. And then you can pull them off where they attach. So if I pulled that off right there, I could root this vine and still have these roots growing. So suddenly I have two plants. And then finally, this big one, so I'm going to carefully brush away the soil and get underneath because they can get quite large. While I will probably eat this one before next spring, if I save a piece of it will also root. And I don't have to do any of these things right away. I tend to like to. It's nice to see things growing over the winter and to be sure that I'm going to have sweet potato babies to put in my garden in the spring. But you can start in February or March and they will start to grow and to root then, so you don't have to get an early start either. There we go. I'm just going to twist this one off. I love sweet potatoes. Who doesn't love sweet potato fries? But I especially love how easy it is to grow these. When I have rooted my little sweet potatoes, or even this little root right here, this I could take off of my sweet potato and stick in water and it will grow. They just love to grow. I put them in average water drainage kind of soil, really my garden variety of garden bed with lots of sunshine, and they cover my bed with lovely vines that can grow underneath other plants as well. I like to harvest my sweet potatoes when the vines are just starting to be spent for the season. So they're dying back. You can see this is more what a healthy, green, happy vine looks like. And some of the ones in the center are starting to feel like they're spent. They were nice and green just a week or so ago. We're getting close to our first frost. So I also keep an eye at that, and I like to get them out of the ground just before that first frost. This is just a little one that I've got here that was underneath my broccoli. I just follow it down. The big ones, I'll go at them and gently dig them out, but the little ones, I just pull. So if you haven't added sweet potatoes to your garden yet, give it a try, and it's not too early to start. However your garden grows, keep growing as a gardener. And in fact, they're related to marigolds. And that was wrong. I was standing next to marigolds in the garden, but sweet potatoes are related to morning glories.